There's really something very special about this little tiny red dot that keeps you wanting to buy more Leicas. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Xander Moore. Welcome back to the channel. First and foremost, let's get the elephant out of the room. Yes, it's true. I did sell my Sony gear to purchase this Leica Q2, but I did not sell all of my Sony gear. So I still have the FX3, which I use to record all of my videos. And then as you see back there, I still have the A1 and a couple of zoom lenses back there. But I did sell some of my lenses, namely the 35 1.4 G Master and then the 85 1.4 G Master. And the reason why I ended up selling those two lenses is because I actually recently picked up the 24-70 G Master version 2, and I already own a 24 1.4 G Master, so there was a lot of overlap for the 35mm. That's why I wasn't really using it as much, even though I think that's probably one of the sharpest lenses next to the 135. Kind of hard letting it go, but since I wasn't using it and I needed something a little bit more portable and lightweight in this Q2, I just decided to let go of it. Even though I love the Sony A1, it produces some of the most amazing images I've ever seen, and it has pretty much everything that I would want in a camera. The only thing that bothers me is when you pair it with some of the G Master glass, it becomes too heavy and cumbersome, especially when you're trying to bring your camera to take pictures of your day-to-day life. It just became such a struggle, and a lot of times what I found was I just ended up leaving it behind. Totally didn't document the moments that were very important to me, and that's where I started searching for a point-and-shoot portable compact camera. And obviously this Leica Q2 came up, but along with it the Fujifilm X100V. I ended up actually pulling the trigger on this Leica Q2. I'm just so happy with it so far. I've had it for a couple of days now. I haven't really had the chance to put it through its paces, but I've been really enjoying it. It's a different experience, especially coming from the Sony world. So some of the things that I really love about the Leica Q2 is obviously the size and form factor. It is hand built in Germany. It's built out of magnesium. It just feels very premium, and if you have not heard of Leica, the way I like to see them is like buying a Rolex. This is a very luxurious brand that has a lot of heritage, and that is why their prices are so high. This camera right here can run you around $5,000 to $6,000. So definitely not a cheap camera, but it is amazing. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. This sports a 47 megapixel full frame sensor with this fixed lens of 28mm that has a maximum aperture of 1.7. If you were to buy this lens alone in the Leica world, it can run you anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000. So I almost feel like Leica packaging this lens with this body, it's kind of a steal, especially if you consider that a lot of the full frame cameras can run you anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. And if you want a premium pro lens, you're looking at another $2,000. So considering that, $5,000 is really not that much for what you actually get with this camera. So the other thing that I've been really loving about this camera is the simplicity. There's only 2 buttons on this camera that are programmable, and when you long press them, it actually opens up a list of options which you can select from and then make your adjustment that way. So I've been really loving the fact that this is so simple to use, especially coming from Sony, which has so many options in the menu. With Leica, there's not a lot of that. It's very simple and minimalistic, and I've been really enjoying it so far. Not everything is amazing with this camera. One thing that I really don't like about this camera is that it does not have a USB-C port, and that is such a big con to me, just because I like to charge all my devices through USB-C, and I hate carrying around battery chargers. So I really wish that with the Leica Q3, they introduced the USB-C connection. The other thing is that coming from Sony, which has an amazing autofocusing system, this camera, on the other hand, the autofocusing is not the best. I mean, it definitely does the job, but it's very slow, and it uses contrast-based detection, which is very slow in my opinion. It's a pro and a con. It's a pro because it actually allows you to slow down and think about your composition and things like that. And obviously it's a con because when you're actually trying to get that sharp photo, it might miss it. So, I mean, I've only had it for a couple of days and I haven't really put it through its paces yet, but for the time I've had it, definitely the autofocusing system is kind of a letdown, and I really wish that with the Q3 they improve on that. And also, me being a hybrid shooter, I feel like this camera is kind of lacking in the videography department, even though it can shoot up to 4K 10-bit, but this camera is not geared towards videography, and it doesn't even have a mic jack, so there's really no way you can do professional video work. If you're trying to do any casual video recording, you can certainly do that with this camera, and it has image stabilization, so it can help you out there as well. But again, this is definitely a photography first camera, so I'm not really that mad about the video specs. And finally, the last thing that I don't like about this camera is the ISO performance. I find that anything above 3200 is just a grainy mess, and it's very hard to recover shadows and things like that. And I actually start seeing banding, and it's just not a very pleasant look. But again, if you are taking images in a nicely lit situation, the images coming out of this camera are just breathtaking. It does have that Leica factor that everyone talks about. The color science is just spot on. If you're gonna be pushing this camera in low light, especially past 3200, you're gonna be sadly disappointed. Overall, I've been really enjoying my time with the Leica Q2, and I just cannot wait to get out there and start shooting more with this. And let me know in the comment section down below if you would ever consider purchasing the Leica Q2, and if you already have a Leica, either the Q or the M or any other Leica. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you have and why do you love Leica so much? Because honestly, like I said in the beginning of the video, this camera is making me wanting to buy more Leicas, and I might just pick up the M, but I'm gonna have to speak to my wife first. But as always, keep doing more, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.